So we just hit 500 subscribers recently, which is crazy. A staggering number of people actually interested in my content. And for that, I think it would be a good opportunity for y'all to get to know me better, and that's what this video is for. Also, I've been collecting questions since about this time last year, so this is a bit awkward if those who asked have already quit the game. I don't know if you're still watching, but for the knowledge of everyone else, I'm gonna answer them anyway. I won't be answering any questions related to strategy because that deserves its own video, which will, knowing me, it will probably come out in like freaking April next year. I'm 19, I'm from Singapore, I'm not in school, I work for the army. All guys who live in Singapore who turn 18 have to do this. My username came from randomly rubbing my hands across the keyboard when I was coming up or failing to come up with a nickname for a Flash game, an old Flash game that I used to play. The goal of the game is you play as a mouse, you deliver cheese to the mousehole thing. People will take turns becoming this leader who gets magical abilities to help all the players get to the cheese and back. There are lots of user-created levels and different game modes. It's very fun, but it's also grindy, and I don't have the time to grind because it's only on computers only. But the games I play the most these days, it's Geometry Dash. That's about it. I'm spamming Shift right now, and Caps Lock isn't turning off. I'm spamming Alt Search right now, and Caps Lock isn't turning off. Let me open a text field, and I'm spamming, and it's not turning off. I play Mindustry a few times a month. I don't play any Florr clones. This is my inventory. I was the first guy to ever craft a super tomato. If you couldn't tell already, if you compare me to like the average super player, I'm kinda stacked. But if you compare me to the top super players, I'm actually really broke. I still don't have an Ultra Ig. I only very recently Oracled an Ultra Mark. I don't have any Golden Leaves. I don't have Moon. I'm kinda poor. Literally last week, as I was returning home, a super golden leaf bug spawned, and I could only watch the disaster unfold from my phone because I just reached home. I've been playing since Waves mode, late 2022. A classmate introduced it to me. Well, I used to play Legacy Florr a bit sometimes, and then one day my classmate was playing Waves mode Florr, and I saw and I was like, wait, what? So I've been around for a while. If you ask me which phase of the game was the most enjoyable, or for me, it would be probably just before Uniques got added. There wasn't an overwhelming amount of new content, and people still semi knew how to super hunt. I'll admit that my luck in this game is like extremely good. I don't know how, but that's cool. Like, there were two specific periods of time when my RNG just exploded. One was when I was just doing a whole bunch of farming, like hard grinding and then crafting every other week. And then the other wave is when all these updates started coming in at the end of the year, and then, well, I had a bunch of petals saved, so I just started crafting them, and I somehow doubled the number of supers I have. Nearly doubled. I have a spreadsheet for tabulating all my super attempts. I did the math, and apparently, the amount of luck they have with supercrafts, I would be at the top 0.3% at the point when I crafted the last super. Out of all these supers, the only ones that I would say are not so RNG carried that I actually deserve to get are Wing and Pooh. That's about it. There's only two supers. Okay, wait, no. I overcooked 2 also, so those count. I had a fairly long fail streak before my first Super Pearl. but my first super pearl was in a bunch of 5 supers crafted at once, so that doesn't really count, does it? And yes, I'm a completely free-to-play player, and these supers were all crafted, or 2 of them were oracled, but the rest are crafted, all legit. If you ask me what my DPS is, I'll just tell you that I don't use Q reload and leave it at that. The guild I'm currently in is YGG, and the reason I'm here is actually I was a Grim member once, but then something happened and it was rapidly losing Asia players, and I had no one to play with. Unfortunately, I had to move, and Manfred was willing to accept me because it was the early days of IG also, and at that time you just ask him, it's really that simple. Now, because so many people want to join because it's so powerful, there's an application process. Actually, weather update, Manfred is now inactive and the new guild leader is Sam. The old system has been removed. Now it depends on referral, where only current members can propose who to invite. I mean, you can still ask me and then I'll think about it. I can be a referee, but I will also tell you up front what I think the chances of you getting into IG are. So anyway, my main goal here wasn't to leech Manfred. Any kind of squad options would do. It was convenient because Manfred was also in Bloodcord, so the server that Grim is based in. I'm like not the stereotypical IG player you would expect. I play Florr because I find it fun. If you don't find it fun, the rational thing to do is stop playing. And a major reason for a lot of people quitting is they fail a bunch of crafts, they spend way too many attempts without a super craft, and they get bored and they leave the game because to them progress does not seem to come to them. It seems like they're stuck. And another is that there's been a lot of updates and they can't adapt because of their situation or because of their playstyle, and that's fair. Florr is extremely grindy, and if you're not up to the task of spending tens or hundreds of hours in the game just to get a minor upgrade, and you should take a break. If you ask me what specific goals I have, like what are the next few supers I want, I think stalling battle like web or pincer would be good, but I don't have the time to lock in sewers, and if I try to hunt super scorpions for pincers, it's not possible. I can only get U iris from S scorpion. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Browser process is on 100 again. Holy slow. I'll put the title here and it's gonna take like 5 seconds to load, and then I'm gonna drag the duration. It's gonna take another 2 seconds. I'll leave it at the default location, can't be bothered. People ask me how I just save like hundreds of thousands of legendaries at a time. Like, how do I do all these craft videos? And my answer is, you gotta have patience. You know, like, as the Oracle says it, commit or don't. Will I Oracle another super? Not in the near future. I'm only free on weekends now, so the amount of grinding time I have has run dry. Last year I played like 5 hours a day on average, I think. This year, like 1, at least for when I was studying. How do I balance studying with Florr and YouTubing? What software do I use to produce videos? OpenShot. Why OpenShot? Cause it's easy to learn and it runs on my machine, so it works. OpenShot is like an intermediate level video editor that gives you a lot of precise control over like the parts that you edit, but it doesn't have a lot of style options. Its green screen functionality is also very basic, so sometimes it can be difficult to work with. And despite how lightweight it is still very freaking slow on the Chromebook. I have a separate video about complaining about Chromebook if you want to know more about it. For making my thumbnails, the ones that are hand-drawn, I use Chrome Canvas, and for photo editing, I use either Google Slides, no joke, or Photopea, which is like bootleg Photoshop that runs in your browser. If you're wondering how I get the music for these videos, I put a variety of music that I use, like different kinds. They're playing in this video right now. Put them in the description, y'all can go look. To record my screen, I use a Chrome extension, and for a lot of other random stuff, I use online tools. Found some decent ones that run for free. Everything's slow on a Chromebook. But then that begs the question, new computer when? Who gave me inspiration to make YouTube? Now that's a very interesting question. The first video I made for YouTube was from Minecraft. It was heavily inspired by some of Watsy's old videos, but now I have no idea anymore. When I see any cool thing in any video I watch, I might try it myself. YouTube is a hobby for me. It allows me to express my creativity. That sounds very cliche, but yes, express my creativity. Also, it's an avenue for me to engage other Florr players. I think it's very eye-opening when, like, previously I just watched videos about people discussing the algorithm versus now when I am actually handing the algorithm videos and seeing what happens. Any other games on your channel that you might want to cover in the future? So if you go to my channel's homepage, you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find that Minecraft channel that I made in the past. Basically, some of my IRL friends found it by searching up my username. Yeah, that sounds silly, but it's been getting a lot of attention and they're begging me to put up a second episode, but it's like, it'd be funny to reappear and instantly disappear. And yes, I've been making Florr videos like ever since I started this channel, like only Florr videos, but I don't want to be stuck. I don't want it to be stuck that way. I want to like explore other Trying to cross promote my content would be very inefficient, so I figured that I am going to be When I'm ready, I'll start to re-upload the old first episode and then upload. Don't get your hopes up, Minecraft is absolutely not fun to play at 3 FPS. I'm only finishing up old work. I might also start making videos about Geometry Dash, but the Florr videos won't stop anytime soon, don't worry. How do I still manage to cope with the low frame rate issue on my Chromebook? I have skill. Although it was a bigger pain in the ass when there was no hide other petals feature. And just watch the video, just watch it. Just think about how it would be for you to play like this. My movement becomes a lot less precise in terms of time, need more time to react to things. Recently there was a super tomb, and then it was so laggy that it just gave up, it froze. Totem is just basically impossible for me to get because of this. It's so laggy that it takes like 20 seconds to copy a file into this folder and then rename it because there's so much stuff inside. I can bubble without antennae because skill. How much does one super attack do against super dummy? I stick to rare summoner, so about this much. Should you coin super missile? Not unless you are desperate for a coin. Full sand or full dice? Is Super Bone still good after the update? The short answer is yes. Would I rather craft a super third eye, but I'm in an alternate timeline so nobody will ever know about it? Or, literally any craft I do could be randomly announced? Yeah, that one's funny. Cool editing trick. The effect that you just saw, like with the black overlay, doesn't actually exist in the editor itself. What I did was, I made an entire black screen, and I put a transition over it and made the transition stuck at halfway the whole time. I tried to use it for the Bone Oracle video, but the video quality died because of compression. After the update, what do I think is the worst petal? Okay, so basically, in general what the update is, it made it so that no single petal is always better than another single petal in every possible situation. Other than salt, but also air. To be honest, this looks like something I might do myself, so it's totally fine. Do you think M2A is running a scandal by having alts with very powerful petals? Oh my god! If I understand correctly what you're trying to say, this part is about how difficult it is to progress when you're at a full ultra level and you're trying to get your first few supers. I was there too. Every super player was there. It's meant to be hard, but also it's a bit unfair. But I do agree that it has become a lot harder because ultra mobs had their health buffed. So anywhere where an ultra can possibly spawn is now a lot more dangerous. You're gonna have to spend a lot more time getting the same amount of drops, even with the drop rate buff. The drop rate buff does not compensate for the difficulty jump. Also, I do agree that SJ was nerfed way too hard, and that there's basically no point getting Super Bubble now. It's very tragic. If you make crafting affected by bonus, people will only craft during their bonus, so you're basically doubling their craft rates for basically free. I think you're just trying to show me how bad your luck is without telling me directly. There was once a time when the Florr crafting menu ran on pseudo RNG, so the first few attempts would have smaller than a 1.2% chance. The first few attempts would be slightly less than 1.2%, and then it would gradually increase until when you have very big attempt numbers, you're basically guaranteed to craft your petal eventually. But that was changed. Now it's pure gambling. It's true RNG. It's pain and suffering of having a chance of incurring a 600 plus fail streak. Also, M2A is very anti-carry, so this part is just not happening. Sorry. Right now, I don't play Florr clones, but I used to play Hornex for like a bit. I admit there are some pretty good ideas for petals, but then Florr, like main Florr, is pretty packed with content already, with new petals being added like not as fast as you might think, and also they have to be carefully balanced against every existing petal. Also, the idea that M28 never looks at the suggestions channel is not true. M28 looks at it all the time, but he dismisses most of the ideas. There's a difference. Can you put Bill in a video? He's my friend and he somehow got on Getty Images. Can I have your address? I'm Singaporean also. Do you like M28? No, because he... 1, 2, 3. Can you guess what the next number is? That's right, it's 4! Unique when? I don't think this is the real Manfred, but probably never. I'm in way too many Discord servers, pause to read. Yeah, I don't purge my servers. How could you tell? When will the next map update be? I don't know, July 2026? Thank you. Unfortunately, I can't squad with you since I'm level 136. I like farming the pumpkin field in Bee Swarm Simulator more than I like eating real pumpkins. There's no such thing as whether it belongs or not. There's only whether there's enough people who like it such that there exists a market for it. Also, personally, I do like it, so... Wait, what's the public opinion on this? Opinions are overrated, screw you, I'm doing whatever I want. My overall opinion on the updates so far is that, for one, the balancing updates are long overdue. It wasn't right that some petals are just OP, like Bone, Magic Stick, they had their nerfs coming. And there were petals like Orange and Root that really deserved to be buffed. But Jelly did not deserve to be nerfed. It was only nerfed because of unique petal health and reload abuse. The UI updates are cool, they make the gameplay smoother. I especially love the clear visual indicator when you get a ultra petal drop and you pick it up. One thing I don't like is that ultras have so much health because it ruins super hunting. At super hunts, no one clears ultras, and the ultras are basically sentient wrecking balls. It pisses me off greatly when I'm trying to go for a bush to try and get a golden leaf. I have no golden leaves. All of the bush summons never die. It's like a fucking blender. The updates are mostly okay. You just have to be able to adapt to new situations. And adapting means clearing the fucking ultras. Do you understand? If we ignore what specific petals you're getting, it's Silver's the best farm. When you're trying to get your first few supers, yes, but if you have lots of supers already, you would probably be rotting in normal Antel instead. That's all the yapping I have for this video. It's like the most object heavy video I've ever made. If you still got questions that aren't related to skill or strategy, because those will take forever, if you have more questions, whether because you missed the announcement that I will be doing such a video or you just came up with new questions, you can drop them in the comments. I'll try to reply to them directly. Thank you all for watching, for supporting the channel. Here's to a smooth and non-rage bait 2026. See you then.